Hello everyone, my name is Simon Chester. I'm the Director of Channel Sales and Strategic Partnerships here at Geocon, based in Canberra in the ACT. We set up this arm of the business that I look after nearly 3 years ago, and to date we've made over 1,000 sales through our channel partners, referral partners and affiliate networks globally. We've sold into 21 countries and over 80 cities in the past 2.5, 3 years, which has been a phenomenal result. To date, we've seen a strong inquiry from the Northern Hemisphere, particularly the United Kingdom and surrounds, with a lot more inquiry coming from buyers in that part of the world. And so we're currently on the lookout for agents, referral partners and people that are eager to join our extensive global network of partners. Today I'm going to give you an overview of Geocon, who we are, how we started, where we come from and where we're heading, and also an overview of Canberra and its surrounds. And most importantly for you, why it's important and why it's attractive to become one of our channel partners, referral partners, network partners, affiliate partners, however you'd like to term it, to be part of us and work with us on an ongoing basis. So to begin with, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Geocon. Very special story here in Canberra. It's turned into the largest private organisation here in Canberra. Started in 2008 by Nick Georgalis, who is our founder and managing director. He still is heavily involved in the business, in there every day. Has done every role that there is to do at Geocon, whether that's the construction, the sales, the marketing, the architectural components of it. So he understands the business very well, and for someone like myself, reporting into him, it makes things very easy to get things done and to get the guidance and advice needed to be able to do my job well and to be able to help our partners do their job well. We're delivering about 1,500 apartments per year, each year, in all areas of Canberra, which we'll talk a bit more about shortly. We're a fully integrated developer, Canberra's only fully integrated developer, meaning we have our own in-house construction team, we have an in-house design team. We obviously have an in-house sales team, we've got a large in-house marketing team, we have an in-house property management team, in-house conveyancing team. So the reason I mention all these things is that the end result for the buyer is a really seamless experience. It's an end-to-end journey and it's very simple, and we can control the process from the start to the finish. Not like a lot of our other competitors in Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne or Brisbane, where they might be developing but they're not in control of the build, they're not in control of the sales process, they're not in control of the marketing or the conveyancing. And that's where things can tend to go wrong. We control every aspect from the first interaction with the client right up to that point of settlement. We even look after the mortgage broking in a lot of cases and work with a lot of partners in that space. We're also Canberra's largest hotel provider. We have 8 hotels with another 3 under construction under several different brands, and they're assets that we build, own, maintain and operate. So in terms of the scale of our business, it's large. It's approximately 1,000 staff operating here in Canberra, and we're growing. We have more sites that we're looking to bring to market in the coming months, years and decades. So it's exciting times for Canberra and Geocon. As Geocon has grown, we've been able to attract and work with some of the biggest and best brands in the industry. Some of the groups and organisations that we currently work with include Goldman Sachs, the famous architects Fender Katsoulides, who do the initial design on all our projects now. So have been able to increase the level of finishing and quality we use. We use pod bathrooms by Sync. We also work with SMEG for our appliances. All the big Australian banks, CBA, ANZ, partnership with Jaguar Land Rover. We also own and operate the only Marriott hotel here in the ACT, which is another feather in our cap. Geocon really is shaping Canberra's skyline with world-class developments that are of an extremely high standard. We're about to release the 2 tallest residential towers in the ACT, and in 2 or 3 years' time, Canberra will have 7 of the top tallest buildings, residential or commercial, here in Canberra. So we are really changing the way that Canberra is perceived both nationally and globally. Canberra's a very well thought out and planned city. It's one of the fastest growing populations in Australia, population approaching 500,000. It's split in two by Lake Burley Griffin. Half of Canberra lives on the north of the lake, half of Canberra lives on the south of the lake, thereabouts. And there is 5 main town centres. Each town centre has its own transport, public sector hub, shopping centres. Now, starting in the north towards Sydney, you have Gungahlin, which is the furthest town centre to the north, and the newest that Canberra has developed. Geocon is one of the more established and the largest of the town centres, about 10 minutes from the CBD. Then you have the CBD itself, which has all your main functions, your large law firms, big business, restaurants, shopping, retail. Woden, 10 minutes further to the south, is one of the emerging areas of Canberra. And then you have Tuggeranong, which is the furthest area to the south and a similar distance to the CBD that Gungahlin is. So if we take a look at Gungahlin, as I said, the newest of the 5 town centres, if you like, that Canberra has, but the fastest growing. For every 10 people that are moving to the ACT, 6 of them are making Gungahlin home, and that's because there is the ability to purchase a block of land in Canberra, a house and land package, which is quite rare for the ACT given we are a landlocked area. The first stage of the light rail was completed in Gungahlin, so Gungahlin is connected to the city through Canberra's light rail project, stage 1 completing in 2019. It has some federal government departments, some smaller ones, but it is the newest of the areas. So it's a growing, young, vibrant, very multicultural community with lots of development happening. The majority of the cranes in the skyline that you see over Canberra are in that Gungahlin area because of the opportunity for expansion. Geocon is the largest of the town centres in Canberra. It's got the largest Westfield shopping centre of all of Canberra. It has the largest gym and pool area that you have in Canberra. It has the University of Canberra, which is the fastest growing university in Australia, with a big push on international students. There's some large federal government departments that are based in Geocon. Department of Bureau of Statistics and the Department of Home Affairs, which was formerly the Department of Immigration, are all based there in Geocon, making it a big hub for both public and private sector. It's located only 10 minutes from the CBD with very easy transport links into the city, and also Geocon is earmarked for stage 3 of the light rail project that is well and truly underway here in the ACT. Canberra's CBD is home to not only federal government departments, Department of Industry, Department of Agriculture, Department of Civil Aviation, but it's also got the big law firms, the big banks, all the big federally known and internationally renowned private sector companies called the CBD home. You've got the most famous university in Australia and the only university in the world's top 20 based here in the CBD, being the Australian National University. And shortly, the University of New South Wales will be commencing work on its 10,000 student campus, also in the CBD, meaning the people that live in and around the CBD will be within 1 kilometre of 2 world's top 50 universities, which is quite a unique thing for anywhere in the world, let alone Australia. The CBD is home to a large shopping retail precinct and some of the best restaurants that Canberra has to offer, all based here in the CBD. Woden Town Centre is 10 minutes to the south of the CBD, just on the other side of Lake Burley-Griffin. It's an area that's seeing a large transformation at the moment. Stage 2 of the light rail is actually under construction at the moment that links the city through to Woden. And obviously stage 1 has linked Gungahlin to the city, so Gungahlin, the city and Woden will be all connected within the next 12 to 18 months. Woden Town Centre itself has a Westfield, some federal government departments. There's a Department of Education there. There's a small Department of Air Services sitting in Woden, and also very easy connectivity to be boosted also by the light rail project. Woden has Canberra's largest hospital, which is a big source of employment for the area, and its proximity to the city makes it a very attractive area to live. The most expensive houses in Canberra sit in and around that Woden area, with some suburbs with a median house price of well over 5 million Australian dollars in that Woden town centre area. Tuggeranong is 20 minutes from the CBD. Again, similar distance to what Gungahlin is to the CBD distance-wise, although Tuggeranong's situated down in the south towards Melbourne. Centrelink and Medicare for all of Australia are run out of Tuggeranong, so the Department of Social Services have a very big presence there, and so government work is a big focus. Federal government in particular. The ACT government also has a presence there through their Department of Education and some other ACT government departments. And it also is an area that's very easily connected to the city via bus and road network, and is also part of the light rail plan, whether that be stage 4 or 5. It will eventually be connected via the infrastructure that's happening at the moment. So now we're going to take a look at a few of the key statistics that are driving Canberra and really making it an attractive place to not only live but to invest. In terms of demographics, there's 1 million in the capital region, and they're people that live within a 90-minute to 2-hour drive of Canberra that use the hospitals, the transport system, the shops and infrastructure. And that's a big number, and it's growing at quite a rapid rate. Canberra's a very multicultural city with over 1/3 of residents born overseas. It's got the fastest economic growth of one of the most secure economies in Australia. And that's really been highlighted over the past 6 months or so during COVID-19. The Australian government's got bigger to be able to service the different initiatives that the government's brought in to keep the economy going. In terms of the current COVID-19 crisis, Canberra has performed extremely well. Our vacancy rates have remained stable. Our unemployment, in some cases, in some months, has gone down. And that's really off the back of a few key fundamentals. Canberra is driven by federal government. Federal government's based here, and then in a time of a crisis, the federal government expands and grows. There's certain initiatives that we have here in Australia, such as JobKeeper, such as getting people back and deployed into different sectors. And to do that, you need to be able to administer it through federal government grants and programs. And so Canberra grows and Canberra prospers during these times of crisis. So it's been seen as an area where a very safe place to invest, because we're not seeing the unemployment spikes that other capital cities that are heavily driven by private sector and tourism are. So Canberra has really come to the forefront during this period, and many articles and many journalists have called the Canberra region, and particularly the Canberra property market, COVID-proof, meaning it's not susceptible to the COVID virus as opposed to our capital cities such as Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane. Our population growth is the fastest in Australia. We have the lowest vacancy rate, and as I said, that's remaining stable at just under 1%, and our yields are by far the highest in Australia, at an average of 5.6% and higher in certain town centres. Light rail completed stage 1 in 2019 and is now on to stage 2, will continue to make Canberra one of the most connected cities in Australia. And our international airport that launched a few years ago now has daily international flights to Singapore and Doha. And Canberra being a small landlocked region, you're only 30 minutes from everywhere. Just across the border, there's access to 140 plus vineyards within a 35-minute drive of Canberra. It's only a short 2 hour, 45-minute drive to Sydney, under 2 hours to the south coast of New South Wales, to the beach, 2 hours to the snowfields. And then, as I said, with the international airport, we have multiple flights to linking up the rest of Australia through Adelaide, Melbourne, Perth, and then onwards to Asia, Europe and the Americas. 70% of Canberra is open space, parkland, walking trails, some of the world's best mountain biking trails. It's a great place to spend time outdoors. There's some great lakes and it's great things for people of all ages to experience, whether it's our outdoor parks or for the more serious people, the downhill mountain biking tracks. On the back of the high disposable income, the number of chef-hatted restaurants in Canberra rises each year. We currently have 13, and it's a cultural hub with 58 museums and galleries in the region, including the world-famous Australian War Memorial, the National Museum, and Old Parliament House. We have all national sporting teams and codes covered here in Canberra with the Raiders, Brumbies, and the AFL, GW Giants, as well as the women's Canberra Capitals, Canberra United, and the Cavalry and Brave. Our tourism numbers are growing year on year off the back of having international flights now. But even during this COVID period, we're not having as big of a hit as other capital cities because of our cultural hubs and museums that are very attractive to domestic tourists more so than international. And in 2018, Lonely Planet named Canberra the third best city in the world to visit. Our international tourism numbers, as I said, they are rising year on year, but we're not as reliant on our international tourists as we are our domestic, which is still sitting at a strong number even during COVID. And the Canberra economy boasts a large entrepreneurial culture with the largest number of patents and trademarks per capita in Australia. So whilst half of Canberra work for federal or local government, there's still 25,000 private companies in Canberra, and that number is growing rapidly. We'll take a look now at some of the key statistics that make investors decide on Canberra as opposed to other capital cities in Australia, and that's from both a domestic and international point of view. Looking across the board, you can see that the vacancy rate in Canberra really does stand out as opposed to its competitors in Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide and Brisbane at under 1%. The yields are higher, and a key point for foreign owners is there is a 0% surcharge on stamp duty. This is unique to the ACT. There's no other jurisdiction in Australia that offers the ability for international investors to pay what the local pays when it comes to stamp duty. On top of that, stamp duty is already quite low in comparison to other capital cities, sitting at around 4%. If you look at the population growth, unemployment rates, and the weekly wage, Canberra stacks up in just about every category as opposed to its capital city competition, particularly for those international investors. Investors quite often overlook Canberra and generally more attracted to Sydney, Melbourne and sometimes Brisbane. But it really is the quiet achiever when it comes to both domestic and international investors. But when we have a look at a couple of the statistics, there are some great benefits for those domestic investors and international investors that the other capital cities just can't offer. Geographically, Canberra is approximately the same size as Singapore. And the reason I make that reference is Canberra, or the ACT, Australian Capital Territory, is landlocked, meaning the ability to expand and expand and expand just isn't available here in Canberra. The amount of developable land remaining in Canberra is very little, pushing the median house price well up over $900,000. But then the average unit price is almost half that. So there's a massive disparity between house and land in Canberra and also the price of apartments. And with that limited land, that gap over time will get closer and closer together. So there really is an opportunity in the apartment space in Canberra, unlike other capital cities in Australia. When you compare property prices in Canberra to Sydney over the past 15 years, you can see that Sydney's gone through a lot of peaks and troughs. It's had some years where it's had 15 to 20% growth and other years where it's had a 5 to 10% drop. Over those past 15 years, Canberra has remained very steady. Not going to get the 15% growths, you're not going to get the 15% drops, but what you will get is your stable 4 to 6% year on year growth. Doesn't matter what's happening around the world, whether it's a global pandemic, whether it's a global financial crisis, Canberra will continue to perform year on year at a steady rate. At Geocon, we have a national and global network and infrastructure. We have all the tools, resources and abilities to support you in it, whatever you need, whether it be marketing support, digital support, any guidance that you need to be able to help you close sales. We're here to help 24 hours, 7 days a week. We pay very generous commissions and we like to work with good people and help them along the way to close as many sales as possible.